Welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Today we're rebuilding the 1968 Tempest Magnum SC550 version. Back to factory standard. Now this car has a V8 2-carb 0HV supercharged engine, and we bought this car for a price of £34,410 from the barn, and it's quite a steal, to be fair. This car is unbelievable. Yes, if we sold it in its current condition, we would lose just over £4,500. But even so, there is something special about this car. We're going to get into that once we get to the lap time. I don't know what it is, but we will get to it. If you're enjoying this series or any content on the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and a like on the episodes does really help as well. So as usual, we're going to start with the engine being taken out. We're going to get that sorted and back to the way it came from the factory, and then we'll move on to everything else. Looking at this already, the gearbox actually looks in very, very good condition. I'm surprised at how good a condition that gearbox looks. But starter motor off, gearbox off next, and then we should be able to get this engine out. Final bolts coming out, there we go. Take out the front exhaust section. Should be all free and clear now to take this off. There we go. Just got to make sure there's nothing in the way, so no water, coolant, reservoir, anything like that. Normally there isn't. It's always worth double checking so you don't get fined. There we go, and we can take this out and go and put it in the workshop, and we can prepare to start stripping the engine back. Now, as always, we're going to speed up the stripping down, and we'll see you when it's all done. That's it, the engine is nearly done, nearly stripped down, back to nothing, basically. We're going to go off and fix the parts, buy the parts we need. Hopefully I won't forget anything this time. And we will be back in a second. Okay, bought all the parts we think we need. We've fixed the parts we could fix. So now it's time to rebuild this engine. We want it to look the way it did from the factory, so off we go. We're just about there. The fan going on now. And I didn't miss something. This car didn't have it when we bought it. We're missing the air scoop. It wasn't really a mistake because it didn't have one on it to start with. But there we go. Air scoop is on. And that is our completed V8 2-carb 0HV supercharged engine back to the original condition it should be in. And what an engine that is. It's incredible. So now, time to take the suspension apart. We're also going to take away the body panels and everything else, and we'll see you when we've stripped the car down to its chassis. That is the car stripped down to an inch of its life. The only thing left is the body itself, the actual chassis of the car. So we're going to weld that now, just to give it back to what it should be. £1,500 to do so. We're not going to notice too much difference because I think the chassis was in pretty good condition anyway. So that is welded. We're now going to go off, fix everything, replace parts we need to replace, and we'll come back to fix it all back on the car. So everything is done, I'm pretty sure. I hope I haven't forgotten anything this time. I have a habit of forgetting one little thing half the time. I think that is all done. So we're going to speed through rebuilding this car to the way it should come out of the factory. Okay, fluid's going in now. The car is looking a dream. A few little things to do still, but the majority of it is done. So I'm going to put the brake liquid in. come together really nicely. It hasn't taken too long. If you're wondering, the reason we speed up the taking things apart and putting things back together parts, just so the length of the video is short. It roughly takes me about an hour to do a car from beginning to end, stripped down, put back together, fixed, everything else. It's roughly about an hour, excluding the lap times and stuff. So to avoid the video being an hour long each time, we do speed those bits up. If there's anything you guys would like to see more of and less sped up, let me know. We're going to put the bodywork back on now. Before we do that, we're going to do the internals. We need the seats back in. We have already brought these. They're nice brown leather seats. They look nice. I think it suits a car of this caliber, to be honest. I mean, this is from 1968. It's, I want to say a classic, but with that engine, I don't know if it is. We've got our new hood going on with the supercharger, the actual air scoop coming out the top of the bonnet, not supercharger. And that does look good coming out the bonnet like that. Window shield going on now as well. Doors and door windows and door mirrors. It's got a funny little mirror just to the back end. Now back of the car. Rear window going on. We've got a trunk. Rear right tail light. Left tail light. And then we've got the bumper. Then we'll do the license plate. Little window out the back. Left door. And then left mirror. And then left door window last. That is the car back to factory standard. Bar the colour, obviously. We're going to go off, paint it, have a look and decide what we're going to do with it, sort out the wheels and everything else, and we'll be back once it's all done and dusted. Here we are. This is what we came out with. The livery is the livery that comes with the car, if you want it on. I think it looks really good. I really like that. The big spoiler on the back is a really vintage style look. The red I just thought suited it nicely, especially when you put the actual livery on as well. It looks like it's a racing machine ready to go. Quick look inside as well, if I don't close the door behind me. There we go. And the seats really set it off. I think that looks really nice. Now, onto the lap. And this is where this car is very, very special. Every lap we set in this car was in the 130s, apart from the standing lap. The standing start lap at the start, as you can see, it's a 142. That 142 is actually quick enough to beat the fastest time as it is. That's saying something, isn't it? But this car was just, I don't know, there's something about it. It held the road really well. Okay, we went a little bit wide here. And this is our best lap of the 5. This was lap number 2. We couldn't quite match this time a second time round, admittedly. So a bit scrappy back there, as you saw. But there was something about it. The brakes were the issue. I think that's the only downside I can say for this car, is the brakes couldn't seem to handle the power the engine throws out. And that's an issue. So you really have to brake early. But other than that, it was just so nice to drive. There's something about it that gets up to speed very quickly. It does corner nicely. It holds the road really nicely. And this is going to be represented by its lap time. We've got a few more corners to go before we actually tell you the time. I've already given you a sneak peek of the in the 130s anyway. That's a little sneak peek. Last couple of corners now. Right hand in. You can see the brakes really struggling to slow the car down, but we managed to do it. And as we come to the final corner of the lap, we are going to do a lap time of a 136.613. That's first on our leaderboard by just under 7 seconds. That's a massive gap. 7 seconds under the previous top lap time. That's incredible, and not something I expected for a car from 1968 at all. There we go. Now on to top speed. This wasn't as good, and you'll see why in a second. So when the lap time was fantastic out of this world, top speed on the other hand become an issue. Slowly starting to slow down the climb now, as you can see. And we're about to hit the top speed because it tops out, and that's the issue with this car. 245, 246. I think we'll sneak to 247, but I don't think it'll count it because we're not there long enough. No, back down 246. So we finished with a top speed of 246 kilometers per hour, 142.857 miles per hour. Joint first on the top speed leaderboard of the Salem Spectre Fastback, all because it topped out. Okay, money. We spent £21,400 fixing this, which included buying it was a total spend of £55,810. We're selling it for £100,309, which is a profit of £44,499. Still a decent profit. This car is going to go down in history on our lap times as the fastest car by a country mile. I'm not sure how long it'll be before something can beat it. With that margin that it's got the second place, I think it'll be a while. So the fastest car round the track that we've driven so far. Not quite as good on the top speed, but there we go. That's it for today. That's our rebuild done. We'll see you next time for the next rebuild.